Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Saturday, March 21st. I'm Michael Taylor, but you knew it was Saturday because I'm right here at the desk, as always, on a Saturday morning with you and through the rest of the day. All right, we got a great show for you on the first weekend of spring. We are going to have a wonderful one for you. We have Adapt to It's Leslie Gabola is going to be here talking about medical devices that they offer there at their store. And then from Hogue Medical Group, we're going to welcome Dr. Yasir Jassim. So we'll look forward to that one. Hey, we got important stuff for you. Stay informed. It is a good one. Want to get you out to the Sequoia Ballroom Clubhouse too. If you're a member of Third Mutual, get out there on Wednesday, March 26th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. for their town hall meeting. It's your opportunity to share your comments, questions, and suggestions with Third Board members. It's an informal meeting where people are just in there talking. There's no set agenda, no voting, no things like that, but really an opportunity for you to share what's going on in your community in order to make Third a much better community for all the residents, including yourself. All right, let's check our weather, and we've dialed up a wonderful weekend for this first weekend of spring. We have temperatures in the 70s and mostly clear skies for the entire weekend. Lowercase s on Sundays, sunny skies. You know, it's going to be sunny, but we're not that excited about it. And then we got partly cloudy. Gonna have some clouds there on Wednesday. That's the only thing ruining it. Our wonderful sun-drenched forecast there. We got some clouds coming in on Wednesday, but no real rain in the forecast. So enjoy the day. Monday's going to be a nice warm one for us, 78 degrees there. Let's take a look at our sunrise, sunset while we're at it. Here's a beautiful picture. Hope Bullock has been sending us some great pictures from her trip to Washington. This is the Tacoma Courthouse Dome. Some beautiful stained glass things going on. There's some beautiful glass artwork there. Sunrise this morning was 6:51. Sunset tonight is going to be 7:04. If you'd like to send us a picture, you don't have to go all the way to Seattle, Washington to be able to do that, or Tacoma and those kind of places. You can do it right here. Just pictures of the places around here, sunrise and sunset, your pets, whatever it might be. Email us, lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. We'd love to include that, and make sure you include your name and where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise, sunset segment. All right, when we come back, we'll be talking to Leslie Gabola from Adapt to It. Stay with us.
What would it feel like to hear better? Many people are trapped in the isolation of poor hearing and don't realize it. Even people that are wearing other hearing aids. They only know the way they hear, not how much better they could be hearing. We've taken patients that were hearing 24% of conversations and improved them to 92%. A life-changing difference. Put on these hearing aids and hear better, automatically. No buttons to push or technology to fear. Artificial intelligence and these products do all the work. Don't settle for less. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
Joining us now is our good friend Leslie Gabola from Adapt to It. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Exactly. You're just around the corner down the street from us.
We are.
Yeah,
we
you've
are.
been there for a long time now.
23 years.
23 years. So
This
two more
year.
years, we're going to have our 25th anniversary.
Yes.
Great. Well, you have a bunch of terrific things that you have in the store.
We do.
From chairs to walkers.
Right.
And even now today, what we really want to focus on is your Medterra product. And that's a partnership you've had with them for a little while now.
Yes, yes. We've had Medterra in the store for probably about, I would say 8 to 10 years. And we're actually the fourth largest seller in California of it. So.
Yeah. Is there a misconception about the product and the THC levels and things like that?
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of education when people come in, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The main thing is that this line here is THC free.
Okay.
It's not made from the cannabis plant. That's the misconception. This is made from the hemp plant.
Okay.
Totally different plant. It doesn't have the cannabinoids that the THC, that the psychoactive. Hemp doesn't have that. Hemp they use for clothing, purses, paper,
Wow.
everything.
Yeah.
And so this is one of those. It's like bamboo. One of those very well growing, eco-friendly plants that has so many benefits.
Wow.
And they're finding the benefits of CBD to even replace big painkillers like Oxy and
Right.
and Vicodin and
Yeah.
those really dangerous ones that people get addicted to.
Well, speaking of those other prescribed medications that people do become addicted to, so if you were saying taking Vicodin today, what would you recommend as a replacement for something like that in this line?
Well, there's all sorts of different strengths. Probably for something like this, this is a 50 milligram enhanced relief. So I would probably start with something like this. And the neat thing about this is that there are a bunch of different products. So you can pick and choose and experiment. So what works well
Right.
for one person may not work well for the next.
True.
This is actually my favorite. This is actually 1,000 milligrams. My favorite is the 3,000 milligram. And this would be a good place to start as well. And this one I like because it's a tincture. It goes under the tongue, so it's readily absorbed.
It dissolves, right.
It doesn't. You don't have to wait for something to work like a pill, like
Right.
a capsule, which this is.
In a lot of these, like this one is this one's called the enhanced relief, but that's a gel capsule, so it's a
It
little
is.
easier to swallow, right? But like you said, that one probably just dissolves underneath your tongue, and it'll be absorbed a little quicker.
Right, right.
And
And
just easier to take.
It is. And you can do it morning and night, is usually what we recommend. And it's a dropper. So it's just one dropper full. If somebody is just starting out, sometimes we say start with a half
Right.
and then work your way up. So you can really grade these as far as your needs go.
Right. And as we get older, sleep is one of the biggest challenges ever.
Ever, for everybody.
For everyone,
Oh
it's
my
just,
gosh.
it's just difficult as we get older, especially. So tell us about the sleep one that they have.
Okay, so this is a gummy, and this is Sleep Tight. And I have people that absolutely swear by this. Like they'll come by every 30 days
As long
and
as
get
it takes, right.
Right, and they swear by it. We have a gentleman, a case manager, who gets it for all of his clients and loves it. But my thing is, these are gummies, and so again, taking it and chewing it, you use kind of half of it in your teeth,
Yeah.
and so I feel like that might be a little bit wasted. So
Right.
again, this baby is really my favorite.
the dropper.
For so many reasons.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about this, whether it's the gummies, whether it's this, whether it's the capsules, it doesn't hit you like a freight train. So you don't wake up in the morning groggy, you're not dizzy. What this does is it just quiets all that chatter in your mind.
Wow.
So you can just relax, which is a beautiful thing.
Right.
And everybody, I think, can relate to that chatter. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
just stop for 6 hours so I can get some sleep.
Right. I've
And
tried all the colored noises, brown, green, yellow, and just like none of that is working.
None of it works. So this does, and
Yeah.
it's nice because it's gentle.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing about CBD is it's gentle. And I do have THC available. It's only 0.3 milligrams. From a dispensary, you can get more. The 0.3 is effective, though, if you like the THC effect.
Yeah.
And THC on its own, I'm not going to get into it really here, but it does have a lot of benefits, and it does have a lot of reasons to use it.
Right.
But
And of course, there's also products out there, as we age as well, our joints just start to, hurt.
right.
So they have something like that as well.
This is our best seller. This is the Rapid Recovery 750 cream.
Okay.
And it's a roll-on. So this one is actually a cream, but this one is a roll-on. This is 1,000 milligrams.
Okay.
And this one's nice because it's a roll-on, so you can roll it on. You don't get the cream on your fingers.
Right.
And pro tip, with this, rinse off your hands with cold water.
Okay.
Not hot.
Not hot water.
Because it'll magnify
stirs it
it,
up?
and it does. It stirs it up, and it can be a little bit uncomfortable.
Right.
So cold water if you're rinsing your
A
hands
lot of
off.
those pain relievers have a cayenne, right? So,
Right.
instead of feeling the pain, now you feel heat.
Right.
Well, they're just trying to distract you.
Right. It's like, do you want pain here or here?
Exactly. Right. So you have a pretty nice supply of these.
We do.
Adapt
We
to
do.
it, and
We
you're,
do.
you're always helpful. And you basically, though, if you're new to any of these products, it's more of the educational process.
It is.
Why would you want to consider something like this, and then find the right solution? And like you said, start slowly and see what kind of response you get
Right.
from that.
And in all responsibility, check with your doctor first.
Right.
And ask him. And there is a caveat for these. People on blood thinners should not use these.
Okay.
So, but
that's-
otherwise it's safe.
Right, and that's why it's so important for people to come into the store, located right down the street here on Paseo de Valencia,
Mm-hmm.
and just have that discussion, right? And
Exactly.
you've known our community for 24 years
Yes.
now. So just come by, say hello. If Leslie's not there, any of the people over there that work there will be able to be glad to help you
Yes.
out and tell you a
Definitely.
little bit about all this products.
And we're not shy, so ask us anything.
Right, you've seen it all.
We
right?
have.
Yeah.
We got a great review the other day, and they said they answered my stupid, embarrassing questions
Right.
without laughing at me.
Exactly.
And that's typical. So talk to us about anything.
Exactly. Well, come on over to Adapt to It, located right down the street from us. Thanks so much for joining us on the
You're
program.
welcome. Thank you.
We're going to be back with more of our program right after this.
At Adapt to It, we strive to make the everyday tasks easier by providing our customers with the tools they need to be successful. We carefully explain the use and care of all of our equipment. Adapt to It has been in Laguna Woods for over 20 years, and we know that nothing in life stays constant. So we can help you adapt to all the changes in your life. Adapt to It sells and rents items and always delivers with a smile. Come in today to experience what we mean when we say, when you can't change it, adapt to it.
Seniors fear running out of money more than death itself, and the number one mistake you can make is underestimating volatility, which can derail your retirement. For 35 years now, I've coached seniors to financial independence by using two simple rules: never take big losses and create income along the way. It's your financial future. Call now to get a free risk analysis to ensure your investments are protected, and we'll send you our Safer Money System, 949-219-0692.
Do you or your loved ones want to continue living at home safely, but are starting to see signs of Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's? Maybe it's recent strokes or falls. Having a caregiver at home can be the best way to keep you in home safely. Home Helpers has been providing caregivers for over 25 years. Call us today or join us at Laguna Cafe for free pie and coffee, and we'll answer your questions about caregiving. It's the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., and space goes quickly, so RSVP now.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us today is Dr. Yasser Jassam from Hoag's Pickup Family Neurosciences Institute to highlight information on multiple sclerosis. Welcome to the show. It's so
Thank you.
nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming down and joining us. I know that this is a not a hugely widely known disease. I've heard of it a few times. So if we could just start off with the very basics to help me understand and some of our viewers understand, what exactly is multiple sclerosis, otherwise known as MS, correct?
Correct. Yeah, sure. No. Thank you for having me. MS, or multiple sclerosis, is an autoimmune disease.
Okay.
And that means the immune system of the body starts to attack the nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. And as you rightly said, it's not a very common disease. The incidence or the amount of people that suffers from that disease in the United States is about 1 million patients. Now,
Not very many.
no, it's not that very many. But what is concerning is that over the last decade, we saw a jump. So there are about 400,000 people probably when we did the last head count on this disease.
What do you attribute that to?
It's a very good question. We don't know is the answer. Some of the attribution is that we know more about the disease, so we can check more for it. We're doing more MRIs. We have more advanced tests to detect it. But there's true increased incidence of the disease, and almost all autoimmune diseases, some of which is attributed to all the lifestyle changes that has happened, a lot of the viral infections, the pollution. There's no one good answer. But what we know is MS on the rise. Now, MS in itself is very heterogeneous disease, which means it can show up in different forms, what we call phenotypes. It can present in something called a relapsing remitting form. And what does that mean? That the attack comes in waves. It hits, causing disability, then it improves, and then it will be out, what we call a remission. So the patient wouldn't feel much for a while, and then it might come back again.
Really?
Yes. Now, the other form of it is something called progressive MS, where the patient doesn't get that many of those attacks, but they just slowly get worse with time. And this subtype is not very common, and it's actually not very well known to patients, but it's also the most disabling.
What is it doing to the body?
Great
What's
question.
going on inside?
Yeah. It's actually a very interesting question, because most of MS patients will come and tell you, people look at me and they tell me, I look fine. Why do I say that I have a disease? Because on the outside, the person will still be okay. And remember, this is a disease that usually affects young adults. So usually patients between the age of 20 and 40 years old, although it can go from 2 years old to 80 years old. So there's no age for MS. That's what we usually say. Now what happens inside, the immune system gets a misinformation that this part of the body is a foreign antigen, a foreign enemy, and we need to attack it and destroy it.
Wow.
Now there are so many theories to why this happened, but basically it's a misinterpretation of the immune system. And the immune system is our security guards, our police forces, the army of the body. So their job is to keep the body safe. So when they turn against us, against our own bodies, and start to attack us, they start to take chips or pieces out of that nervous system and destroy it. And it depends where they hit, that will cause the symptom. For example, if they attack the nerve of the eye, the person will not be able to see.
Wow.
And if they attack the nerve of the bladder, they wouldn't be able to pass urine or go normally or control their bladder. And if it attacks that one of the legs, then they wouldn't be able to walk.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why it can present in a very heterogeneous way. It can show itself in so many different forms. It depends where you go.
Wow. So are there outward symptoms, or is it just someone says, something's just off, something's not right, I should just go get checked or tested? Or is that the only way that you're going to figure out how?
That question of yours brings us to the very core of what's happening now in MS. Back in the day, we believed that MS only happens when the attack happens. So people used to come to us when they lose vision, they can't walk, they can't talk, they can't use their hand, something like a stroke. So they come in retrospect, with the attack.
Right.
But now we know there is something called a prodrome for MS, which means that the disease starts years before we start to see it. We now believe that the disease starts around puberty age. And the core for that is an infection with a virus called the Epstein-Barr virus, or what actually causes infectious mononucleosis, the disease known in the community as mono. So if you get mono just around puberty time, you're at high risk of having MS.
Is that right?
And there are a few years of not feeling well before the disease. Something is a combination of stress, fatigue, depression, and some cognitive dysfunction. The patient can't put a finger on it, but they just tell you that there is something that I don't feel to be going okay. I'm not myself. But they can't usually tell you what's going on until they come with that attack or that episode. That will be what we call the revealing moment.
At that point, Dr. Yesman, is it too late to reverse anything that has happened to either the eye, your examples, the bladder, the hand?
So yes and no. That's the kind of the difficult part of the disease when we educate our patients. You truly can't fix the damage by any medication, but the body fixes itself by healing. And people heal in different ways. So some people are what we call good healers, which means that the symptoms will go away completely, and some people don't heal very well. And we don't know why there's such a difference, but it's a very subjective and personalized issue. It depends on the person's health, level of exercise, diet, genetics, a lot of that. But once that attack is resolved, there is always a little bit of damage that is left behind.
Sure.
And that's why the most common wisdom we have with MS is you don't treat attack, you prevent them. You don't want them to happen in the first place. So you want to be on the most efficacious way or treatment to prevent any attacks from happening.
Gosh, that's so scary.
No one can
So,
be.
I mean, are there tests being done on children to diagnose any type of potential disease that could develop?
Again, this question is very close to my heart. So the answer is no, we don't screen for MS. But we at Hoag are starting a study where we go and try to obtain samples from relatives of MS patients, first-degree relatives, because they have the highest risk. And we want to test their blood samples, and we want to put them through the various tests to say if we can ever predict if somebody is at high risk of MS versus somebody else. Because then, and only then, we can intervene early, and we can prevent it from maybe starting in the first place.
Right, right. So you've won innovation awards to further research for MS. How'd you get your passion for this specific area of medicine?
So I've always been intrigued by the brain. It's a very complex machine, and what it does is very intriguing. The immune system is another intriguing system, and neuroimmunology is the marriage between the nervous system and the immune system. Now, how I got into MS was a very touching story. I was a very junior resident, which is a trainee, doing one of my very first jobs in neurology, and I saw a lady being pushed in by her husband in a wheelchair after she has lost the ability to walk. And with them was a 4-year-old daughter. And we were given the task always as junior trainees to admit the patient, get their paperwork done, prepare them for doing what needs to be done. But the major decisions of care are usually in the hands of the specialists. Right. But that daughter decides to come to me because she saw me, I'm the guy in the white coat, talking to her mom first. And she said, before she left with her dad, she said, "Can you make mommy better?" And I had very little say in it, but I said, I'll try. So, the weeks goes and the whole team gets on top of the case, and she's treated, she does physical therapy, and she leaves the hospital walking. And as she was leaving with her family again, that same little girl told her daddy, or her father, he said, Daddy, this is the doctor that made mommy walk again. And to me, this was kind of a sold moment. I know that this is truly what I wanted to do for a living.
That's fantastic.
It's very rewarding.
Story. What a great story. Real quick, we've got about 30 more seconds, but can you wrap up the differences between Alzheimer's and MS?
Sure. So Alzheimer's is by definition not an autoimmune disease. It's a degenerative disease, which means the brain just starts to decay or to become weaker for reasons that we don't understand. MS, interestingly, has that same feature, but late in the course of the disease. And we now think that the destroying part of MS starts very early. They both can affect memory. They both can affect concentration. But the major difference is that one, which is MS, you can make better by tackling the immune system. In Alzheimer's, it is not clearly that we can do that yet.
Interesting. Well, we certainly appreciate all of the hard work, dedication, everything that you bring to this particular subject, multiple sclerosis.
Thank you.
Everything that you do for the community. Thank you for being here, Doctor.
Well, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
You're watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be right back after these messages.
When it comes to life's most important medical challenges, where do you go? Welcome to the Hoag Institutes. Our top-ranked physicians are experts in diagnosing and treating the most complex medical conditions. Unparalleled expertise, world-class care, all within the Hoag Institutes, right here in OC.
For some of you, it may be time to replace your dated windows and doors. I'm a resident of Laguna Woods and have served the community for 10 years. As a women-owned business, you can trust Window Jazz to provide seamless service from the moment we meet to the completion of the job. Most jobs are completed in just one day.
Window Jazz put windows in my home. The service was amazing, the price couldn't be beat, and I would recommend them to anybody.
Call Window Jazz now to schedule your free consultation.
We believe every senior should be able to remain healthy, happy, and at home. At Caring Senior Service, we understand the value of compassion and companionship. Our caregivers promote health, happiness, and independence. We cook nutritional meals, engage in meaningful activities, run errands, do light house cleaning, and more. Call us toll-free at 833-926-3700 or visit our website, CaringSeniorServiceLW.com. Healthy, happy home. Caring Senior Service.
All right, let's talk Saturday movie, and it's a great one. It's a classic from 1971. It is A Fistful of Dynamite, starring James Coburn, and it's brought to us by RadNet. Going to be at 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. In 1913, bandit Juan Miranda and fugitive IRA explosives experts John Mallory join revolutionaries targeting a bank, only to unwittingly free political prisoners, turning Miranda into an accidental hero. Sounds like a fun one. I actually haven't seen this movie, but it's a classic. I've heard of it. Maybe I'll have to give it a watch myself. All right, let's take a quick check of our weather forecast before we head out. And it is a beautiful day today, and that is going to be the theme for the rest of the weekend and into next week. Just wonderful temperatures in the 70s and high 70s on Monday. And then we get a little partly cloudy stuff moving in, but no rain in the forecast. So really nice temperatures in the going from 60s to high 70s in a range there. Get out there and enjoy your weekend. Monday on this day, we're going to be welcoming to the studio folks from Dr. Loberg from Loberg Dental Center is going to be here talking to Bree Cox-Kennedy, who's going to be in this very chair hosting the show. And along with folks from the Republican Club, they have some updates on what's going on in their group as well. Some meetings coming up and some guest speakers. So stay tuned for all that information. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.